and welcome to CableCast. My name is Ryor, and today we have a special episode celebrating the 25th anniversary of Pokemon. Joining with me today, we have full-time Twitch streamer and fellow Pokemon fanatic, James Eakes. James, how's it going?
Going good. What is up, everybody?
Glad to have you on board. And joining us, following her debut as one of the new voices of Pokemon itself, it's esports caster and world-renowned giant Pokemon plush owner, Rosemary Nekkra Kelley. Rosemary, how's it going?
That is the best intro I think someone has ever done for me.
I knew you'd like that. Yes. Your adventures of giant Pokemon plush collecting on Twitter, I very much enjoy it. I could never... I don't trust the mail-in system enough, I know, with your experiences. But...
Only once.
I don't know where I'd fit them personally. And moving, I don't want to imagine that. Anyways, so we're here talking VGC. I'm glad to have both of you guys on because I feel like it's been a while since I've talked with, I guess, older players, I guess. Or like people who have been around long because I've been in NPA talking with a lot of new players and like people who have done like online tournaments, but a whole year without physical tournaments, it's nice to like talk to the people that I'm used to seeing, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, we've gotten a ton of new players just because of, you know, all the grassroots tournaments and stuff. So a lot of new faces have popped up, but yeah, we've been around the block a while.
Yeah, I think
that's a nice way of putting it.
I'm trying to think. James, when did you start playing? Was it 2015? I want to say.
I started getting into VGC like after Worlds 2013. So like I never played 2013, but I watched it, and then like right when X and Y dropped in November, I was just like hooked playing the VGC format. So that was like my first time was like late 2013, but 2014 was the first, format.
Right. I think the jump into the 3DS games was a big jump for a lot of people. Big spike in attendance there. And then, Rosemary, I knew you right when you got into VGC through I guess, mutual friend then. You were, you went to University of Michigan, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So I knew a lot of other players. This was late 2014 that also went there. So
yeah, I started my competitive journey in 2014, and I played up until Dark Void Smeargle ruined it for me.
I can heavily relate to that. It certainly hasn't been the same since, but it's been gone. To think it's not even in the decks currently. Actually, I forgot about that. That is something I do want to bring up later. As a talking point, missing Pokemon currently.
Uh-oh.
But first off, I guess, so last cast I had like mid-February. We really got in the swing of things with Series 8, but out of nowhere, we get this announcement of Series 9 already, and that we're going back to Series 7 rules. So, did you guys have any like gut reactions to that?
Yeah, I had a pretty bad reaction to it, I guess. Like, I made a big kind of discussion about it, like on my channel, and I kind of just said like, I understand why the formats are changing. We are, sheltering in place. We can't travel anywhere, so it makes sense that all we have is online. So changing the online formats is like good. It keeps things fresh. There's no real reason to let the metagame like develop super, super deep when there's no actual events. So I get why they've been changing it, but this is the first time they have gone back to the same rule set. Every series has been different. 1 and 2 was the same, but then it went to 3 and that was different. 5 was different, 6, 7, 8. And then it was almost just like, wow, they're either running out of ideas, which is a bad look, or they should be letting the series last longer. Like if they let each series last 4 months instead of 2 or 3, we, like in a theoretical timeline, in the Steins Gate, if you will, we would be like still playing in like Series 7 right now, and we wouldn't even be in Series 8. So yeah, those are my big gut reactions to it.
I had a similar gut reaction, and then when I thought about it a little bit more and I had a couple more conversations with people, I started to realize that there was probably a deeper reason that the Pokemon Company would have wanted to revert back to Series 7 rules. And it kind of comes down to, the fact that we have online players cups. Maybe they just didn't want to repeat a format for them. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that Series 7 was pretty fun and still had a lot of growth and development that it could go through. And I have hope that there was a good concrete reason we reverted back rules. But I'm in the same boat as you, Eakes. The first time that I had heard we were going back to Series 7 rules, I definitely was confused and scratching my head.
Yeah, and I mean, I totally agree with your point that the meta was, fresh and fun. It was all the new, Crown Tundra Pokemon, and there was still like a ton of growth and like development to be had in the meta. But which I agree, like going back to it, there's still a lot to be done in that format. But the question is, why did it change in the first place? That's where I kind of don't want to let them off the hook, if that makes sense. Like, well, why did we even go to Series 8 then? If like that's my biggest issue, I guess.
Right. Like, why couldn't Series 8 have just been Series 7 continued and then the restricted format be the Series 9?
I have a theory about this, and this is me entirely thinking from my own perspective.
Love speculation. Go on.
I believe that Pokemon was really hoping that we would have a world championship this year. Because if you think about the way that series had lined up, we would have been in potentially GS Cup rules for the World Championships with, 2 restricted Pokemon and also everything in the Crown Tundra, all the DLCs, and Gigantamax and Dynamax. But we don't have a World Championship this year, and it doesn't look like live events are going to be returning anytime soon. So I think that there was almost like an emergency call to say, well, what do we do now? And maybe it was just reverting back to an old rule set so that Pokemon had a little bit more time to maybe build up to a point where we would have a GS Cup rule set with Sword and Shield at 2022 World Championships.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that they have been, kind of scrambling, I guess, to come up with new answers and stuff. And it totally makes sense that was their timeline, but that just begs the question, and it implies that VGC 2020 was going to be the first of its kind ever as a format. And what I mean by that is like VGC 2014 was the exact same format for literally a year straight. 15, same exact. 16, same. 17, 18. The only one that was different was 19, where they had, Sun, Moon, and Ultra Series, which was really cool. But that was the first time. We didn't know that was going to be the new norm or anything like that. And to me, I don't think the series is. In the past, we've had like different series on the ladder for like X and Y. It would be like legendaries on the battle spot ladder, but it just didn't matter because we had these online events. We had offline events like Premier Challenges, mid-seasons, and like no one really played on the ladder of the game. They would take their practice to either Pokemon Showdown or in real life events, and the game has had these online ladders be different. They just didn't matter at all because live events didn't change. And so because we can't really compare it too much to how it would be in like the real world. If we had events right now, would these series actually matter? And we don't know that because we never had championship points on the line for different series. We literally only had it for series like 1 and 2, and then it changed to 3, and then it was over. And 3 wasn't exactly a big shift, such as Crown Tundra releasing all of the Pokemon.
Right.
It was like we got
Gigantamaxes, right?
Yeah, we had like a systematic rollout from series to series. Most of them didn't really shake up things. I think only the Lapras one Well, they also that was also Pokemon Home where we got like Venusaur and Incineroar. That's why that felt distinctly different.
Okay, yeah, I remember Series 3. It was pretty similar, but just a tiny few additions. It's kind of like in VGC 2018, we got Incineroar with Intimidate, like a little, like about halfway through the year. Or in VGC 2014, this is a throwback, but we got like Tyranitar with Ice Punch like 2 months before Worlds or whatever, like stuff like that. So it's like, we don't know if these series would have actually mattered, is kind of my point. And like, it brings up a lot of uncertainty in how they are going to handle formats in the future. But yeah, we just have to take these series really seriously, because the biggest thing is it's all we have. All we can do is play online, play on the ladder, practice. And then the Players' Cups are actually corresponding with these series changes. And yeah, so I mean, I don't know how the series would affect it. Sorry, I'm rambling.
No
I have
problem.
a question. I have a question for both of you, actually, because I saw this as a pretty big discussion as well. Do you think that they announced Series 9 rules too early? And do you think that that had anything to do with how visceral of a reaction people had to knowing we were reverting back to a new, like an old rule set?
Right. So I can go into that because I did tweet about that. Where it's funny, it definitely felt too early, and people are always harping on the rules being too late. Like, they don't want like a week turnaround on the rules, because like tournaments are coming up. They want to be like theorying things even before like the ladder hits and whatnot. But when you think about it, like back in the old days of VGC, the format would be announced at Worlds and be like, hey, this is the new format, starts next week or something like that, you know? While I guess Worlds is always like a big thing for announcements, so people like that more so. But as far as this, the issue with it being like why it is really too early is it does kind of take away from the current series that we're in. Like at the end of the series when Series 8 was announced, no one was playing Series 7 for that like last week. They were all like theorying on like other like special like showdown servers that are already harboring this format. But I still feel like Series 8 would have been taken a bit more seriously leading up into Players' Cup. I think announcing the next series at the end of Players' Cup would have been like most ideal, because it would have been like 2/3 the way through the format per se. I don't know. That's just how I feel.
Yeah, I think there's two really big parts to this, and each side has like pros and cons. So just like Caleb just kind of talked about, is like, let's say there's 2 weeks left in Series 7, and then they announced Series 8. It's like nobody cares about Series 7 for the next like 2 weeks, but it's still there. All the tournaments for those 2 weeks are still Series 7. And so honestly, as a content creator, that sucks, because like I literally cannot play Series 8 because the on-cart ladder, which is once again all we have, is I can only play Series 7, and everybody's already speculating playing Series 8 and all this kinds of stuff. So that is kind of sucky when we find out a little bit too early. But the big thing is if we found out, well, let me spin it a different way. Like, I think it would be cool if we found out like the day before the ladder changed, because it would be like Series 7 matters until the last day. Series 6 matters until the very last day, which I think is great. And then it's like, it's super cool and fresh when like the ladder's different and it's like, oh my God, we can start like immediately like practicing and changing up new strategies and thinking of new stuff. But this is the big problem, and I'm definitely not overlooking it. It's like, let's say that right now, let's say Players' Cup starts March 6th, right? And then they would just announce that the rules are different like a week before a big tournament. That would be like atrocious. Like, when there's a tournament coming up close to the date that a series changes, like, we need to know what that format is ASAP. And I can't remember which Players' Cup it was. I think it was Players' Cup 2, where like we were playing in a format for the qualifier like right after it changed, or the like.
Oh yeah, the qualifier was Series 5 during Series 6.
Yes, it was something really weird like that. And I honestly give a lot of credit, and I have leniency towards the Pokemon Company, who's like doing all these, or whoever's doing it. I don't know if it's Nintendo or Game Freak. That's my bad. But like, I understand that like we're in a pandemic. There's so many different variables to take care of. It's really hard, but there are a few kind of oversights like that where the formats overlap in a bad way, or formats change too quick, and then there's an event like right there. So like, I think that they can handle these series changes a lot better, and yeah, I don't know. I guess it just goes back to if the series has actually mattered, but I think since they do matter, they could be handling how they change a lot better, IMO.
Yeah, totally fair. I have a point that speculation that I saw some people talking about for why we're reverting to Series 9, but I don't think it's the case based off of when games are being released. But let's put a pin into this now just so we can talk about the big 25th Pokemon Anniversary Direct announcements, just because it actually does kind of play into the speculation. So in case you guys hadn't seen, of course, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl remakes were announced, along with Pokemon Legends Arceus, a totally new, distant past Sinnoh adventure, kind of like open world game. We don't know exactly too much about, but it is a mainline series game. So we have two games, one coming out in late 2011, or why did I say 2011? 2021, jeez, it's been a long year. And then Legends being available early 2022. So of course, this being a VGC podcast, we'll set aside VGC for a second while I ask you guys how do you feel about these games. I know, Rosemary, I mentioned you're the new voice of Pokemon, or one of the new voices of Pokemon, as you did voiceover work for the reveal trailers. But how do you feel about these announcements, guys? Like, are we super hyped for these remakes?
Ooh, I'm super hyped for these remakes. I have always been in the camp of like wanting Sinnoh Gen 4 remakes, and so finally getting them is really exciting.
Sinnoh confirmed.
But I think that the most exciting thing to me is literally the Pokemon Legends Arceus game. I have always wanted more lore, and I feel like this is the perfect game to really see what Sinnoh looked like in the past, how trainers traveled around, and I think the other thing is like we get this new potential battle mechanic, it kind of looks like. And that's just really exciting to me to get this just open world RPG that just looks like so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's been clamoring for, open world RPG Pokemon game for as long as I can remember, right? So,
yeah.
I mean,
the fever dream is open world, every region, massive multiplayer online game. But again, that there's a reason that's a fever dream. So
baby steps.
Yeah.
But I think Arceus looks super awesome. Me and Rose actually were talking about this the other day when we were opening card packs together. But it was just like the fact that this game exists in the Sinnoh region, right? And it's like, through speculation, it's like in the Meiji period, which is like the Industrial Revolution. It's like 1868 to like 19 whatever. It's like that time. Right. But it's just like, it opens up so many possibilities for like Legends Kyogre, and it's in like 1,000 years ago, and it's about how the ocean was created, and you're like a caveman or something. I don't know, and you got your Pokemon on a leash, like you made out of rope or something. And we're like, you got Legends, like,
yeah, they definitely named this game like just on the off chance they plan, like, if this is successful enough, they plan like kind of spin-offs off of it in the future. Yeah, that'd be totally exciting.
Exactly. I think there could be endless possibilities. Just like Rose said, we want more Pokemon lore. And it's like, unfortunately, I think one of Pokemon's weakest points as a franchise is its kind of story and then like lore in a way. Like there's a little bit of lore in every game. You know, you can go in the library and like read about Darkrai or whatever, but you can't get there without a Toys R Us ticket or whatever. But then there's like, we love like these characters and stuff, and we don't even know much about the characters because we only see each gym leader for a few lines of dialogue and nobody's voice actor or anything. So it's just like Pokemon is a world that like everybody still loves it, even when we don't quite get as much out of it as we'd want in terms of like character and lore. And like, this is it. This is potentially it. Like, I hope they don't take it in the direction of the normal game where there's no voice acting. I think this game could be like amazing with voice acting. I think, you know, we get really deep into character lore. Like, let's say there's a quest for like, I've talked about this, but like Cynthia's great grandfather is like the shogun of this like era, right? And it's like, he looks like Cynthia and he like, I don't know. So like, you know, it's connected to Cynthia. And then like you go on a quest, like a fetch mission, I don't know, where it's just like, you learn all this stuff about this guy and like how he's done all this stuff. It's like this game can open up so much more lore and adventure and just get us even deeper into the Pokemon world, which I am super excited for.
Honestly, I hadn't even thought about all these possibilities. I guess for me personally, I've been hung up on. So I guess I try not to go into these directs with much like expectations. But then you go to bed the night before and you're just dreaming of all the possibilities of these announcements. I think we all knew, well, like Rosemary literally knew, but we all knew we were getting Gen 4 remakes of some kind. And I was just thinking, like, I know a lot of people aren't a fan of the Sword and Shield's like engine, but I was just thinking like a reimagined Diamond and Pearl, like remastered, like into a 3D world. I guess I've been playing too much, or like I got really into, I never played the original Final Fantasy VII, but I got really into the remake, and it's like a totally different world based off of the original stuff. So I was kind of imagining that, but I guess Game Freak, they realized that they didn't want to like totally like deconstruct and remake the look of Diamond and Pearl, which is why we got Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which, you know, not a lot of people are fan of the art style. They did like what's it, ship it to another company. Like they're still overseeing the production of it. But yeah, Ilka, they worked on Pokemon Home, which that I'll dig into that later when we drill back into VGC. But it looks polished at the very least, and people it's a very much in light of needing a better term, nostalgia bait kind of game, you know? Like, it's very faithful to the original game, and that's not exactly what I was hoping for, but I'll take the trade-off of this being their decision for this, allowing them to take risks and actually, like, explore a game like Pokemon Legends. Like, if that's what the games needed, or, like, the series needed to be able to branch off, I'm totally on board with that.
Yeah, like you said, taking risks, and I think that they just took 2 risks, right? Like, people are seeing like, okay, Arceus is the open world game. It's totally new. It's going into a different timeline. And it's like, that's the big leap. And it's like, oh, they're just playing it safe with the Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. And it's like, I think they're both big leaps because they just took like a big step back. We've never seen Pokemon do that. Like, you know,
yeah, because the other remakes were aligned with the styles of the other mainline series games at the time.
Exactly. Like, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire was like, looked just like, you know, Sun and Moon at the time, right? And so that's what we were all expecting, was for this Diamond and Pearl to look just like Sword and Shield. And they went full like back to the like, it looks like a square grid kind of format. Like, you can see how the pathing on the ground is. It's very like angular again, and then you've got like the top up view, I'm bad at these perspective gaming terms, but like, it's like the over the top view from how it used to be, and it's like they are really trying to make it like a remaster instead of a remake, if that makes sense. And like, I'd just like to say right now, like I'm not here to make a big argument, but like I like this. Like, I'm excited. I think it's cute. I think it's actually this is what we played as kids, were these short, tiny, chibi sprites on the map. And then when you get into a battle or something, you've got your like big sprite standing there, like the full art. We could see Dawn and what's the rival's name? Barry. You could see him like standing up, and their models are great, like in the game, in the battle, but then in the overworld, they're like small. And it's like, that's what we used to play as a kid. Like, I think it's cool. Like, I think it's cool that they were willing to take a step back, and people are just like, oh, like people have this mentality of like, it's new next gen gaming. Like, everything has to be like bigger and better, and the graphics have to get like more, deep and intricate and stuff like that. And it's just, I don't really feel like Pokemon needs that. I think that maybe there's some things in this game that aren't perfect, like maybe the legs are a little too big or stuff like that. So, I mean, I can nitpick about a few things, but I am excited. Diamond and Pearl holds a special place in my heart. I think it was right around the age that I could like remember everything, I guess. I was like in early middle school. So like that age where like I remember like a lot of my life, and I remember playing this nonstop every day, all day. And
I got a Diamond and Pearl.
I'm excited for it.
I went to Nintendo New York at the time and got it on release. I did that with all the DS games, so I have a lot of special memories there. So, yeah, I'm for that. But like, my big question is gonna be, what's going to like in like, I don't know, 5-10 years, what's gonna make me come back and play these games, and not just Platinum, right? Like, Pokemon Platinum, highly considered probably like a top 5 main series game in like 90% of people's eyes. So as long as like certain features and whatnot aren't like missing from these games, I think they can do a good job with this. But as the cynic, I guess, out of the three of us, I have a lot of expectations, but I'll play them lower, But feeding into my big question, so I introduced these games to you guys. Where are we playing VGC?
It is a good question.
So a friend of the show, Jason Krill, he attempted to contact TPCI about this question.
I saw that.
He was never getting anywhere with that. Frankly, I don't think they know.
My personal hope is that we do get a Worlds with Sword and Shield. Right. I love Gen 8. It revived my competitive spirit. I hold it as a special place in my heart because I got to do some of the first few shows that we had for Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield.
Right.
And I think that the Dynamax mechanic, while polarizing to quite a bit of the competitive community, is a mechanic that I really enjoy.
Yeah, it's like a different game. I enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, and so I really hope that we get to see some of the best, especially when we've had an influx of newer players, get a chance to try their shot at playing a competitive circuit in person with a game that they have had a very, gentle introduction to with online tournaments and things like that. I think that would be really fun. And so my personal hope is we get a year of in-person events with Sword and Shield leading up to a Sword and Shield Worlds in London in 2022.
Yeah, I mean, I just looking at this totally open-minded. I personally, just like Rosemary said, it's polarizing. I don't like Dynamax. I don't like these formats very much at all. But not looking at that at all. I totally agree that everyone who's played this game just got into Sword and Shield, just got into VGC. Like, we should have a World Championships on Sword and Shield. It would be insane to not have a World Championships on a main series game. But what could stop that? Oh, a global pandemic that shuts down travel.
Yeah, canceled the 2 worlds that were guaranteed for this game.
Yeah, but the thing is like, Pokemon is a business. It is a studio that needs to produce these games and make money to continue to make great games for everybody. And it's just, they will not, I don't see them like pausing the cycle of competitive for a year just to get a World Championships on a game when we've already got a new game out. I can't see that happening.
Well, but Sword and Shield, the Galar region is based on London. You know, it is, and the reason why we had this location, the first ever global location outside of the United States for Worlds.
Hey, North America, don't forget Vancouver.
True, North America, you're right. Is I think to honor the fact that it was based on this real life location. And I can't see. I just like, again, this is like the hopeful in me, and so maybe I'm playing the more of the hopeful, hopeful protagonist
totally
here. Is that I really hope that we get a chance to honor that. And again, just going back to the fact that we have had more new players than I can ever remember in the history of competitive Pokemon, with a new console, with the new game, with a new generation get into competitive Pokemon. There's just like, the sky's the limit there. I just really want to see people enjoy that the way that we know how to enjoy that.
All right, I have like 3 kind of bullet points, just topics I want to throw into this for you guys. For one, I guess the Pokemon games are going to be bought regardless of VGC. VGC, unlike TCG, isn't pushing product, right? So you can very much stay Sword and Shield. People are still going to buy and play the other games. Like, I don't know. We don't know if the other games are even going to have, like, online ladders or anything. Especially big questions on Legends, if, like, how that's going to look. If that's, like, single-player only. Again, we know only so much about that game. And then the remakes, obviously, Gen 4 still had double battles. So, very well could play VGC there. Some people excited that, like, it could be a throwback to the last time we had, like, pure Pokemon, like, no gimmicks or anything. I know some people don't remember, like, gems as being a gimmick, but they were at least, like, pretty polarizing as mechanics in Gen 5. So some people might enjoy that for a format. We could always do that. But my third point, what I wanted to talk about earlier, but I wanted to mention these games first, is that there's still Pokemon that aren't in Sword and Shield that could be introduced, that could change things and, like, add formats. Actually, in case you guys aren't aware, I just shared with us a link of all the Pokemon that aren't in the mainline series currently, and a lot of them are from Sinnoh. And a lot of just other starters as well.
That is interesting.
Okay, I say a lot. It's only 43. Let me see what. I think it was Johto. No, it's. I guess most of the generations are missing, like, similar amounts of Pokemon, but still, like, when Crown Tundra dropped, I think we did this on the cast. We were looking at the from a competitive standpoint, like, the big Pokemon that are missing. Not really a lot, you know. They're, like, just kind of
from Gen 2, 3, and 4, though.
Well, as far as, like, Pokemon that would affect the meta at all, there's only one, and it's Smeargle.
Stop it. You're bringing up bad memories.
I know, but, like, it doesn't get Dark Void anymore, but I'm just glad it would probably get Decorate.
Oh.
And, I mean, everyone knows. I already made it clear that I don't like Dynamax. I think Smeargle in a format with Dynamax would ruin the game. It learns every priority move in the game to activate weakness policy, Aqua Jet.
I didn't even think about that. Oh my goodness.
It's just it would not be fun at all. So I think that they strategically left Smeargle out of a game with Dynamax. I genuinely think that they
totally fair
thought about that. I literally think they did. So I think that lines up even better into Diamond and Pearl remakes come out. I never got time to answer the question, but I think VGC will be played on Diamond and Pearl remakes. Okay. And I think Dynamax won't be in the game, is my hopeful opinion.
Hopeful opinion, yeah. I guess so the reason I wanted to bring this up, people were speculating that maybe like a big like update to Pokemon Home and Sword and Shield for 25th anniversary, in which all the Pokemon are finally in the game now, and that's why we're going back to Series 7. I don't think that's happening. Like, if that were happening, I think we would have heard about it by now. I think they could retroactively update Sword and Shield to include most of these Pokemon, but I don't see that happening until Diamond and Pearl are out.
Yeah, I can't see them just shadow dropping 300 Pokemon into the game. Like, we just had a Pokemon Direct in the 25th anniversary, like Pokemon Day. Mm-hmm. They would have announced, that would have gotten everyone hype, I think, right? Like, you have to think VGC players are, I am willing to say maximum, like 2% of the population who plays and buys the Pokemon games.
And like, probably like 1% of like Game Freak's like brain power when they're considering a lot of these moves, you know?
But I mean, legit, like, they would say, yo, like all the Pokemon are back on what day does the format change? April?
May 1st.
May 1st. Yeah, that would be like, look forward to it. Just go out and buy Sword and Shield if you haven't bought it already. Buy. Like, go get the game. Like, they would have said that the Pokemon are coming back during the Direct. There's no better time to say that. So,
for sure, yeah.
I guess I don't see that coming, but I think that would be great. I think every Pokemon deserves to be in every main series game. There are, like,
I agree,
a lot of gripes I have with how they've been handling the newest games, and there's a lot of things that I love about it. But, I mean, one thing that I can't justify is, like, not having every Pokemon in every game. It's just, like, I get it. The number keeps getting bigger and bigger, but either make less Pokemon or figure something out, because every Pokemon is somebody's favorite Pokemon, if that makes sense. My favorite Pokemon is Ariados. It's tied with Ariados and Maractus, two forgotten
very niche Pokemon for sure.
Ariados isn't in the game, and that sucks. I can't even like attempt to win a game with my favorite Pokemon. That sucks. Like,
I think my favorite, I have like 5 that I just always promote to my favorite, but Furret's not in the game, so I can relate with that. Although I know I was never planning on trying to win anything with Furret.
Furret gets follow me. I mean, sheesh. What is Ariados working with? I guess he gets Rage Powder.
It gets Rage Powder. Yeah, come on, same tier right there.
Same tier, true.
Well, I get Sylveon, and for a while she was viable. So
yeah, she did. She won OCIC. So back when we had live events. So yeah, way to rub it in.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Sylveon's got a rich history of VGC. It did amazing in like 2015 and stuff like that. So
good times. So the big reason they said like not all of these Pokemon, or like even with the DLC, but not every Pokemon's in the game yet. They say they reworked these models, a lot of the animations and stuff, People like to compare them to the GameCube and N64 games. It's hard to, I get all these animations for all these Pokemon, but I would like, I guess, more lively attack animations. But people noted in Pokemon Legends, which, for one, I want to say, I was thinking about best 3 combinations of starters of any gen. Pokemon Legends Arceus might have like one of my top 3 like ideal like trios: Rowlet, Cyndaquil, Oshawott. Like,
I mean, I'm happy for you. That's not the 3 I would choose. But
no, yeah, totally fair. Starters. Yeah,
we've all got. There's a million different starters, so it's like I think it's a really cool choice. That like. I don't want to go into the can of worms again, but it opens up the whole idea of like migration. Like Pokemon migrated to a different region over time because of some stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like Rowlet could have gotten too cold, so Rowlet flew to Alola, right? I don't know. It's so cool, so cool. So I think that's an awesome.
I only brought it up because people noted that like the Oshawott model's new or something. Its mouth is no longer just a line; it's like actually part of the model.
Yeah, I really hope so. I don't want to turn this into a
Yeah, no, totally fair.
criticism of Pokemon podcast, but I think they did not deliver like they said in terms of animations in Sword and Shield. So this gives hope that these are new models, not reskinned or, updated models. I think like the Pokemon Legends, trailer was obviously a little bit rough around the edges with like the frame rate and stuff. But I mean, this game is like a year out. This is not the final product.
Yeah,
I am very happy with what we saw for a year out. And I think with community uproar, I think we've seen a lot of like, Pokemon hasn't really been the company to listen to community uproar too much, but I think we've seen what community uproar can do. Like the Sonic movie changing the whole thing. I'm sure the company that made that movie, I don't know the company, but like I'm sure they lost a ton of money, like having to reanimate everything and stuff. But then the product came out. I saw Sonic on Valentine's Day the day it came out. I thought it was great. Like, and then Cyberpunk, obviously that should have been delayed. There was a bunch of bugs. I think that maybe I'm hopeful that they've seen enough of these kind of community opinion, what's the word? Lashback?
Yeah.
What is the word I'm looking for?
I'm not going to lie, James, I was very worried where you were going with this, bringing up Sonic movie and all, but like I totally get you. I think the fact that this game even exists is a testament to like them knowing what their fan base really wants.
Yeah, so I just think if they've seen all these, companies getting, flack for making a product that's not that good, I think that this might be the time that they put in the extra effort and could make one of the best games ever. So I'm honestly hopeful. I'm always one for second and third chances.
Okay, but will we play VGC in this game?
I would love that. I personally think the answer is absolutely not, but I would love that. I want to let you know that I keep myself level-headed. I have dreams, but then I have realistic thoughts, and I don't see this. I think this is going to be like a single-player game, or maybe even like a Monster Hunter type thing. Like you go and like you go to the volcano to catch Moltres with your friends or something. But like, I don't see a competitive battling scene in this, I guess. That's not what I guess I see the appeal of this game. I think the appeal of the game is like what they said, like making the first Pokedex. Going and catching every Pokemon, exploring every corner of the world. So it's like, I don't think battling is at the forefront of this game, I guess.
Yeah, it feels a lot to me like it's going to be like what people call it, right? Breath of the Wild meets Pokemon. And, if you think about the core mechanics of Breath of the Wild, it's a single player game where there's lots to do, and it's about your own adventure and your own enjoyment of the game. I don't personally see us playing. I don't know if there's going to be an online for this either.
Yeah, we honestly know so little about this game. Like we saw the seamless transition from interacting with Pokemon to combat, but we don't know if like there could be. I'm sure there's got to be some kind of battling trainers. I don't know if there's going to be like gladiatorial like combat stadiums and whatnot, and that's where we end up playing VGC. We really don't know. But I am totally down either way. I'm sure we'll find a home amidst it. I didn't say what I think we'll get. I do think it makes too much sense to stay with Sword and Shield. I'm just worried because Game Freak itself isn't working on the Diamond and Pearl remakes, that wouldn't be like the main hub they'd focus on, I guess, because Game Freak does like directly influence all the series and updates and whatnot. So
that's I mean,
That is a good point for sure. That, but I don't know. I think that would like take away from the Diamond and Pearl remakes a lot. Like if they were like, okay, here's this brand new game. It's a whole new generation. It's still a main series game. But
well, what if like
you
how
have to
they
play on the
introduce
other
right how they introduce those Pokemon? Like I said, a lot are missing from. Well, I didn't even think about the Sinnoh Dex like back on Diamond and Pearl, but I think a lot of the non-Sinnoh Pokemon that are missing from Sword and Shield were in the Diamond and Pearl. So I'm guessing I'm seeing like when these games come out, a update to Sword and Shield would coincide with them and like Pokemon Home, so they can be transferred. And people are like, this is how you get these Pokemon. You play this game.
Yeah, but then it makes it seem like Diamond and Pearl is just a $60 DLC to Sword and Shield. I feel like they don't want to take
It's an
away
RPG too, you know. It's got its own story.
Well, but that's Arceus. We're still talking like the Diamond and Pearl remake. I feel like the thing is like with the series, Ultra Series, Sun Moon series, they kind of changed how the format operated, and then with these series, they kind of changed how the format operated a little bit too. But we've been playing for a really long time. We've seen how linear they keep the formats and how the competitive switches to games, which I think is fine. I'm not complaining about it being linear, but
yeah,
I'm in that linear mindset that like every time a new game has came out, everything goes to that game, and there is no involvement with that old game in terms of competitive play.
Right.
So
I guess the only example that hasn't been the case was Let's Go Pikachu. But that didn't have like doubles and whatnot, you know.
Yes, but I don't. That's not a main series game, in my opinion.
Do they not consider that as one?
I don't know if they canonically have like distinguished games as main series games, but like I don't think this Arceus game is a main series game.
No, they pitched it as such. They like used a main series, main line game.
I literally don't know the difference between whether Game Freak and Pokemon call something a main series game versus what the fan base calls a main series game.
Right.
I just don't know where that term comes from.
I just remember like audibly in the trailers them saying a new main series title. But that was for Pokemon Legends, so
I would have to rewatch it. I'm not gonna say you're wrong because I can't remember them saying that, so I can't, lawfully say that. But like, I guess I don't see it as a main series game. I don't see Let's Go as a main series game either.
Totally fair.
You can almost think if there isn't like VGC and Wi-Fi and like trading with other players and stuff, how could it be a main series game?
Right. There's so many staples that are important to us as competitive players that's where we're viewing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Was there anything? I feel like I pinned something, but I think we got back to everything. Was there anything else that you guys that we might have glanced over that you guys wanted to talk about?
I could go on forever. I'm excited about this.
Oh yeah, no, believe me too. But we try to put a cap on it for the people listening at home, you know.
Yeah. The attention span of the Zoomers,
Yeah. Yeah, everything's super exciting. A game end of the year. I guess one last thing. I completely forgot about it. It was earlier today. This is only in the TCG, but I want your thoughts. This is more like a global like pandemic kind of talk, but TCG like locals are coming back to New Zealand and Australia because like they have their stuff on lock. So I only bring this up asking you guys, when do you think at the very least local events would come back to the States? Because international travel is a dicey thing. I don't think that realistically we could have like anything international, let alone Worlds, until summer of 2022 in the first place. But like locals or like regionals, when do you guys expect this coming back?
Oh boy. I personally think that they will come back when vaccinations are available, and I don't know. I think this gets a little bit too deep into like are there going to be like vaccination passports now, or like are
Right.
countries going to require it? But I do believe that we need to be in a much better space, health and safety wise, before events become a normal thing again.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
Here, go on, Eakes.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say I don't see them coming back anytime even remotely soon, to be honest. Like, I think it's pretty obvious that America has been one of the weaker, handlers of the virus. I think we're still we've got a lot to go. Of course, we've got the vaccines coming out, which is great, but I mean, I don't think it's just gonna get fixed overnight. I mean, we've got to get vaccines out to everyone. There's going to be people that refuse to take the vaccine. There's going to be people who are a bit negligent about, everything's perfectly fine. So they go out and do everything normally, and then they can potentially spread the disease more. I've heard people talking about maybe like stronger strains come out due to people spreading it more. I don't really understand too much about it scientifically, but I think that if people try to jump the gun, think that everything's totally fine, they're going to make it even worse. And so I don't see that happening too soon. And then also, I kind of am in the way, me personally, I think, let's say they were like, okay, everyone's got the vaccine, like world's back to normal. Like, I don't see myself going out, hanging out with my friends, hopping on a plane until like 3-4 months after they've said everything is back to normal, because like I want to see that it is actually good. I don't want them to be like a month later like, oh, actually it's really bad, and like you just like got it again or something. Like, I think it's going to take a lot more time, unfortunately, because of how poorly we've handled it. And I mean, I know that the US has some travel ban type things, like we're not allowed to fly to a lot of countries, so I mean, maybe Australia wouldn't open up their events if Americans could fly to their country like safely or whatever. You know what I mean? So like,
the Pokemon Company International has a lot of, I guess, responsibility here, because we already know the kind of bounds people will go for CP. I didn't want to call you out for this Puerto Rican champion. But,
at least you called me the champion. I appreciate that, because it's true. But I mean, I'm still kind of shocked that Australia opened up their events.
I think it's because of like, it was specifically TCG, and it's like the card shops, like it's affecting their kind of like way of life, at least like shop wise, like economically. So
for sure
on that end. But like, as far as like big sized events, I can't expect it. I was thinking like maybe earliest in the fall, but even then that's like right before winter and people get sick again. So I just want to see you guys again, man, you know?
Of course. But I'd also like to say, just for people who might not know, but obviously we have our events like Premier Challenges, Mid-Season Showdowns, which are worth championship points, and those appear on the Pokemon event locator on the website. But there are a lot of events that do not reward championship points, but they appear on the event locator because they're for fun, or they're grassroots, or you can get Pokemon keychains and stuff there, right? Like, they are technically events on the Pokemon website, but they're not like official sanctioned events worth points. I don't think these events in Australia, they're not going to be worth championship.
Well, because there's no ladder. They haven't, like, the only thing we know about Worlds is that it's happening, right?
Yeah, like the series is on pause indefinitely. These events that these people are going to, they're not going to be gaining an advantage. They're just going to be having fun, maybe winning a keychain, maybe winning a promo card, and just interacting with their community and stuff, right? And just like Caleb said, kind of revitalizing the economy of the local card shop. But these aren't going to be worth points, so I just don't want anyone to think that they need to do something in Australia to get an advantage or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, you heard it here. Hopefully not first, but we're telling you all, even if events open back up, just stay safe out there. Yeah.
Please.
Okay. Well, with that said, I think that's everything from me. You guys want to take some time, plug where people can find you, things you might be doing, projects coming up, or anything? Here, James, you can go first.
Alrighty, I'll go first. But yeah, if you guys don't know me, I stream full-time on Twitch 5 days a week. I stream VGC. I do card openings. I do whatever I think is fun. I always try to make things interactive with the chat and just try to be an entertaining streamer, I guess. And yeah, I'm actually on like a 4-day break right now, but I'll be back. And yeah, I'd love it if you guys came and checked me out. I'm over on twitch.tv/EakesTV. And then I've got a YouTube channel, a Discord, which you can all find from my Twitch channel, you know, in the About Me. I've got all this stuff. But yeah, specialize in competitive Pokemon, been playing it a long time, and just do anything fun and interesting involving Pokemon and fun IRL stuff. So we would love to have you on the stream.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, I guess I'm next then. If I'm not busy doing an esports show or I guess doing voiceover work now, you guys can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Nekkra, spelled Nekkra. And you can also find me on YouTube. I post a lot of beginner-friendly VGC content on there, as well as spotlights, shining a light onto some of the Pokemon that are running around in the meta. And so if you're interested in that kind of content, you can check that out at youtube.com/NekkravGC.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on board the show, guys. Next episode, I'll probably be post Players Cup 3, get some back into the high-end VGC analysis, looking at teams and whatnot, results from that. And until then, see you guys later. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.